Well, good afternoon, Kansas City. What's up, Kansas City? I'm Mike Patton, and this is India and Dr. Marj Williams. And we're here for another exciting day for discussions that you may be talking about at home, you may be talking about on your lunch break, you may be on social media. This may be something that you may be interested in. It may be something that's just burning your heart. You just want to get out of your shelf, man. You know, what the world's going on with this world? All we see is bad and tripped out news. I mean, you know, what's going on and what's going on now? I mean, you know, but we got some topics today that we're going to talk about that we want you to chime in with. We want to see how you feel. How does this impact your children? How does this impact your community? How does this impact you? How does this impact your church? How does this impact that you think that the way and the direction that the world is going right now? We need to hear from you, but we're going to bring out some topics here with some astute people, very educated people working for the school system, that has worked for the school system, people that are in movement now to make changes, positive changes, to have a positive outcome. Andy, why don't you start us off, and what we're going to talk about today?
Right. Well, one of the things that, as an educator, I had the pleasure of working with students, and I was informed that a lot of the Kansas City area students have decided to walk out of school in regards to the stricter gun laws. And so, as you know, 3 weeks ago we had in Parkland, Florida, the latest school shooting and 17 murders, where just students were murdered, unfortunately. And a lot of the students are actually taking action, and we're seeing a lot more students than adults stepping up to the plate and saying enough is enough, and we're just tired of it. And so earlier this week we had students as close as St. Teresa walk out. We have a lot of students that are even during the spring break in the upcoming weeks will take trips to Washington, D.C. to speak out on some of their feelings about what took place. And so I know you all are familiar with what took place in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what was fascinating to me was to hear those young people in Florida talking, you know, the governor, of course, did not show up. They had an opportunity to share their feelings, and they were very, very verbal and what they wanted, what their beliefs were, asking them, you know, are you going to take money for your campaign? And you know, I even saw a couple of them that were on other TV shows just talking about their fearlessness and being able to say, you know, we've had enough. You've got to do something with gun control. Why do we need all of these people walking and running around here with these guns that they're using in war? And most recently, I guess it was last week in the Lee Summit area, Lee Summit School District, they arrested those guys who had weapons that they bought on campus, and one of the weapons that they discovered was the exact same rifle that had been used. And so, you know, just knowing that gun sales, of course, went up when this occurred, and people are voicing their opinion. Even President number 45 has indicated that the answer to this, of course, is to give teachers the right to bear arms. So that kind of started something totally different, you know, about who should be taking care and who should be those who are protecting and serving. And a lot of the teachers are saying, we do a lot of things, you know, we do a lot of things, but carrying a gun is not something that I want to do. Now, for those in communities where that is normal for them to have a gun, and now he is saying, well, I guess Becky DeVos said, well, he didn't mean everyone, but that people would be skillfully trained. And so I just said, you know, that just rolls out a whole nother problem with teachers, and asking them, first of all, to do that. And then secondly, you know, we know that there's still some problems and issues with relationships.
Exactly.
You know, how do you draw the line that, you know, and communicate.
A bad day, a teacher,
But you know what? But on that note, though, understand though that the for most, not all, the Republican platform is now not gun control, but the right to bear arms.
Right.
But understand, a peaceful protest can bring about a positive change. They have a governor who's a Republican. They had a news conference today in which now he's chiming into gun control. Boom! What a bombshell to the Republican agenda. And so these kids, they were very adamant. They were very just aggressive behind now, heartfelt now by the things that are happening in their community and how there has been such a distrust with our community, and how it seems like everybody's talking about the law making money by the ERA, but nobody's talking about lives being lost. And so now how do these things come about? So now we need gun control. So they gave an outline. And then they had now on the Van Jones show, they had an outline of kids that were there, who gave their agenda, who gave their outline as to how now this looks to them, because we're not in school with them. They are in with their now other beat people, they're homies, they're homegirls.
Right.
They have to function. They have to get back and forth to class. So now, if I'm walking through class and I'm going to my next class to the other, should I feel threatened?
Right.
When I'm going home, you know, and I have to leave early, is someone outside not waiting for me?
Right.
You're more worried about the NRA and how the NRA now supports. Now, here's the situation with, what's the senator's name that ran for president? I can't think of his name. Mark Rubio.
Oh, yes, yes.
Specifically asked Mark Rubio, who's a Republican,
Right.
will you stop receiving campaign funds from the NRA?
Passed around.
Yeah.
And he passed around that thing. You thought he was Fred Astaire.
He
That was
never
Michael
said-
Jackson.
He never said
And
no.
that student did
Yeah,
not
but what
say
he did,
that,
you remember what
yeah.
he did say? No, he said, as long as somebody, whoever it was, if the devil can come out of hell and support me, I'm going to take his money
Right.
because it supports my agenda.
Right.
Where in the world do we draw the line?
Yeah.
I know. And I mean, it's interesting, and I just love that the students, we know that the scripture says that the child should lead us.
Yes.
And when I heard them speaking and heard them being able to give their voice to what had happened to them, it made me feel so powerful, because so many people believe that we have lost generations and more lost generations.
That's what
to
I was
come.
gonna say.
I believe it's going to be the children who are going to get the attention that is needed to turn this whole thing around. I know on March the 24th in the greater Kansas City area, they have a march that is scheduled in support, so that will be going on across.
When is it? Okay, because I was going to say, I know that there's also a March 14th march as well.
You guys
So
need to
there's
come
a
out and
lot
support
of
this
things.
too.
Right.
These events
Right.
coming out, if it's
Right.
of your interest,
Yeah.
you need to be there because I know we're going to be
March
there.
for Our Lives on March 14th. And something else that I wanted to make mention of, because you talked about is students being leaders and them stepping up, but adults are supporting them. So
Yes,
even
absolutely.
the KCPS, the superintendent is supporting them. Mayor Slide James also wrote a letter and said, I support what you're,
Right. He
what
did
you're
a
doing.
wonderful letter. I mean, it
Yes.
kind of circulated out
Yes,
there, and I
it
don't know if I
did.
could get a chance to see it, but I just thought, these are the type of things that our children need to hear. They need to know that we're not always saying, oh, look at the kids, because we know there's one or two who spoil the whole bunch. But for the most part, they know what the agenda is, and the agenda that right now for them is not going anywhere because they're not going to back down.
That's right.
They're not going to back
And
down.
they're affected, and like I said, even with us being in Missouri and that maybe Florida, a lot of the counselors, a lot of school districts and systems here in Kansas City are also increasing their counselors and psychologists who are on staff now to talk to some of those students. And I know I've definitely seen that in school too.
We want to hear what you have to say. Now, here's a good point. Let's bring this up about gun control. And I just want to know what you think. We want to know because it's
Yes,
important
make
to
your
us.
comments.
Make your comments.
Yes,
Trust me,
post
though.
your
Okay.
comments.
What's up,
Yes.
Kansas City?
Yes.
All right.
Listen, no, what,
No,
on that
On that note,
On that note.
I'm going to what's that Kansas City? But listen.
Yeah.
Should we give now every teacher the opportunity to carry guns in the classroom? Will that solve the problem?
That's not going to
I
solve
don't.
the problem.
Because, I mean, let me just ask this question. Do you have people that are unregistered, undiagnosed people with bipolarism?
Absolutely.
Oh yes.
So how do we know what a
yes.
person may
Oh,
snap?
yes.
Absolutely,
That's a good point.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
our society today, and it's not just today; it's probably been for a long time. It's just that it's more to the surface. Is so socially dependent on the things that we do, and so it's almost like if there is something that's faddish that's going on, then we're gonna jump on that fad.
That's right.
Now it's gun control,
Yes.
and that is
Good
not a
point.
fad, believe me, because when you're talking about lives being lost or
Yes.
something like this, and to
Yes.
say the answer to that is just to give every teacher a gun and that's
Right.
gonna go away.
Right.
Well, then you know what happens? They leave guns, schools, and they go to hospitals. So you're gonna give every doctor and every nurse and every practitioner a gun.
Right.
Well, yeah, when you do that, then it's gonna move on to the next section. So
Right.
that is not the answer.
Yeah, and here we are just a few months in, and we're already at 32 homicides here locally. And so I mean, it's just no, we don't need more guns in the streets or in the schools. Yeah.
And on that note, I want to kind of shift it because that was really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something we
Yeah.
need to talk about.
Yes, yes. And don't
But-
forget to give us your comments.
Yes.
Because we'd like
That's
to
right.
know what you think about
Yes.
what we're talking about. We can bring it back and share on the show.
Yes.
Now, on a more gentle, happy note, if you could say,
Yes.
there's the owner of now the Dallas Mavericks. His name is Mark Cuban, and a lot of you all have seen him on Shark Tank. Well, there's an historic day that has happened the last few days. An African American named Cynthia Marshall now became the interim CEO of that NBA team. And I think that is so awesome. Let's give women an applause.
Oh, yes.
If you're home right now, give women an
Yes.
applause.
Thumbs
That's
up.
right.
Thumbs
Two
up.
International
thumbs
Women's
up.
Day.
Ten
I mean, there's
What
a lot
up,
going on
G?
this.
That's what's up, right? But here, out of 74.4% of African Americans now that are in this big billion-dollar industry,
Oh, yeah.
how many African Americans do we see are people of color? I might say, now run these are in that type of position. Well, now here's this woman that was now one of the big executives, AT&T. They found her to be qualified and credible for that position.
Yeah.
How many people out there have been left behind who have been qualified to run and be ahead of these types of big positions? There are no black owners up until 2002 when Robert Johnson now took over the Charlotte Hornets. The very first African-American billionaire who now owner was the founder of BET. But
Little Black History
that's
fact
right.
right
Back
there.
on that note, here's a Black
That's
History
right.
fact.
Thank you.
But the thing about it I'm saying is that you may have somebody out there that's watching this program right now. You may want to be a CEO, but don't limit yourselves. But black people, people of color, we have to support one another and somehow carry ourselves in a way to understand. In this country, we're still a minority, but we don't have to be left behind.
Right.
Take your education, take that chance. Mark Cuban called her up, and she was on somewhere with her husband, got the call. So she was looking up and says, look, we need you to come here because we need a CEO. Now, the thing about it, they had this press conference, right? And this is the other part about it. Mark Cuban has been allegedly under this scrutiny dealing with sexual abuse. So, sexual harassment are back for somebody else. And so now, he goes after her, so now they, you know, she's driving with her husband, and ironically, she says, no, baby, you drive. I didn't even look this up. You know, look up now who you want to be a part of. And I thought that was so important. Give me some information. Don't let me go into this interview ignorant. Let me know the position that now you want me, so now I can make an informative decision whether to say yes or no. So now they come. So they have this press conference. He says, you're the one. The staff says you're the one. Now there's a very much of a silence because Mark Cuban, he has a very interesting way that he presents himself. He's very outspoken about different issues, both politically, both socially, dealing with the players, dealing with the association, dealing with the commissioner. But when she got behind that mic, he was totally aloof. He let her have the mic. In other words, people in life don't have to speak for you. You have the mouth to speak for yourself. And that's been one of the situations and issues with women. Women like a Hillary Clinton that speaks for herself, she doesn't need others now to speak for her. That has been so offensive for the male gender. And it seems like it's caught up into traditionalism. Should women have a voice? Should women really be in those positions?
Well, I believe they should be in those positions. I believe, yes, they should have a voice.
Oh, yeah.
I think she, you know, for her to do her research, which we all should do, if we're moving into a position or we're asked to speak on a panel, we're asked to do some work that puts us up front, we have to do our homework. We can't just go in there cold turkey.
Right.
The good thing that she did, that you talked about, was that she wanted to know what she was committing herself to. If it's something she wanted to align her name with, which is something that many times people don't think about. They believe that it's a great opportunity, let me jump on it, and then they get in the middle of it and say, whoa, what did I get tied to?
Or wish they did.
Right. So, you know, if you're asking the question, should women, it's time. It's the year of the woman.
2018.
It is time for us to be moving into those non-traditional type positions. And having the support, and like you said, Mike, having our voices heard.
And I think he allowed her to speak on her own because, again, she is on her own on this. And after a while, he passed the torch, and I think it's very important that they do start passing the torch.
Now, when Dr. Marj says this is the year, this doesn't mean 218. This is the age. This is the time limit. Okay, we want to lose dispensation.
We're not losing it
December 31st.
Right.
It's not going to end at the end of this year. Okay,
but it's
this
time
is the time.
that we're coming into our own.
And we have to understand the world is evolving. Okay, women have a voice. Misogyny should be out. The thing about it is that I'd rather out be in the wilderness somewhere and a woman to lead me than to have no man that's around me now take me nowhere and me to be lost. Women have been the pillar of this society for so long, but we're silenced because we have this misnomer in our minds that women cannot be so far as intellectually sound as a man. And let me tell you something, that's not true. The first black billionaire, her name was Madam C.J. Walker. She wrote something. The reason why your hair looks the way it is right now is because of her, right? But she was able to break the barriers and not open up for all these different hair shops, all these different clinics, all these different types of schools to teach hair. So understand, women, you have a place in this society. You have a voice. No one has the right to speak for you other than yourself.
And that's right. And we have to stop thinking that there are only non-traditional, there are traditional roles that we have to be in. we need to learn how to break our own glass ceilings, and she has done that.
Yes.
Same thing with Mae Jemison. She was the first African American astronaut.
Right.
She broke the barriers. There had not been a woman that we know. Look at the hidden figures, those women that now designed by engineers and architects now this spaceship to go up into space back in the 60s that we never heard about
And
it.
I was
Never
just
heard
gonna say,
about that.
so
We
there's
never
so
heard
many,
about it.
Yeah.
so many untold stories out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, good point.
Marj,
Yes, on that.
talk to us on that
Let's
note.
bring it home a little bit to Kansas
Right.
City. You know, last week we had an incident in Overland Park at Hooters,
Mm-hmm.
where a young child, a preschooler, was accosted by
Yes.
a man. I guess he wandered away from his family, and there
3
were
years
some
old,
things
right?
yeah,
3 years
Yeah.
old.
that were said to him that were inappropriate. Parents held restraint and did not respond. You know, that some people say, well, my child, that wouldn't have happened, you know, but they were able to hold their composure and deal with it in another way. And it's my understanding that most recently, and I don't know if it's true or not, it's just, you know, how you hear the rumors or whatever, that the person who is accused of doing this act is a community service provider
Yes.
in the greater
Yes, he
Kansas
is.
City area. And so there was conversation, you know, you have to read between the lines, and he said something about, you know, this code that they have when the police came, that I'm
Yeah.
one of you, you know, as if to say, I'm one of you, we need to just
Right.
kind of let this lie dormant. Well, I don't think that's happening.
Nope.
I don't know if I could have held a composure, and I know that everybody has a right to their stories, and the reasons why the parents did, but I just know, for me,
Ah! You better say it. You better preach. Me and my house.
Right.
we're gonna serve
We
the
gonna do
Lord.
something
but-
here. What? How is it ever? How is it ever?
Right, right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know, I just hope that
And there were a lot of
family-
witnesses.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of witnesses, and everyone's
But you-
story was the same. There wasn't
Right.
any
Regardless
thing
of the
that
code,
said that
the
they
stories were the same.
did something.
Yep.
I mean, look at a 3-year-old dude that would make an adult
Right.
spit on him,
Yeah.
and then make the comment that was made.
But you know what I believe is this, is that it's not the point of whether the fact the kid was black or white, or
Right.
orange or Republican
Right.
or Democrat.
It's a child.
You're talking about a child, you spit on the child, and then you call him the N-word.
Yes.
Now it was those people, his friends, white friends that were around him, that called out on him.
Right.
And they're the one
Yes.
who called the police on him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, so a whole lot of things have been said. Look, on his page, he says on his page, allegedly, look, if you have any political, racial, or any type of indignation of some type of rhetoric that you have to now voice out, don't put it on my page.
Right.
So now, one of the investigations now that they're doing presently, let's look through his history. How many times did he go to an incident and say, well, if he's black, well, I'm going to keep him there.
Yeah.
I did not go in because there was a fire. Had there been any discourse or any
Yes.
type of
It's
pattern
it's
as to now that brought him up to spitting on a baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have spit on my baby, I'm telling you right now, you would be visiting me somewhere,
Somebody would be.
incarcerated. Somebody was saying a prayer for me tonight.
I know.
Because, and then if I see somebody else, this is a child. How inhumane could
Yeah.
you be?
Yeah.
I mean, sad
Yeah.
occasion, sad
Yeah.
incident. You know, no
Yeah.
one
Lots
deserves,
going on.
child, adult, or
That's
whatever,
right.
deserves to have
At
that
all.
type of behavior
Right.
shown toward
Right,
them. So,
regardless.
you know, my prayers and support go out to the
Yes.
family.
Our prayers are the same.
I
Yes,
hope
yes,
that they're
yes,
able
yes.
to get some type of resolution behind the situation, but just know that no one gets a free pass.
And on that note, we're going to close it out today. And just remember this, that the race is not given to the swift, nor to the strong, nor to the brave, but the one that can endure to the end. For we walk by faith and not by sight. We will see you. And on that note, we will see you later.
Peace.
Peace out.